let's pick up part two. For the people who, if you haven't watched part one, I highly, highly recommend you do because it kind of gives the whole backstory of where Mr. Indian P came from, how he came from the lonely streets of India to be living in Vegas. So, without further ado, let's pick up where we left off with part two of this epic saga.
Okay. Yeah. So I had David Swift living with me, uh, and like he was trying his best to try to train my mindsets towards the mindsets of like a slayer because David Swift is a slayer, so he was trying to teach me whatever he knows, and yeah, but I still couldn't see. I couldn't put it into action because like I mean, David's advice is always like related to mindsets a lot more than actions. But I mean, like he even chooses who he gives his advice to, like his right advice, like how he games in night game. Yeah. Anyway, so that's when like this was during August of 2017. uh, I was still a virgin. I was pulling girls home, but I was creeping them out. Or whenever I was like trying to escalate on them, they used to like fucking get creeped out. Or they like at one point, me and Gabriel Gray, we pulled these two hot chicks. One was African American, and one was this really cute white, like thick and thin girl, like does just the right amount of thick, and she was like super cute. Just turned 21, and yeah, we pulled her home, and like I had no calibration to even understand that she was feeling uncomfortable. Like I was literally trying to like pressure her to go to my room, which I didn't even understand was like what that I was doing it against her will. And then David pointed out.
Well, let's dissect this because there's definitely going to be bound to be some feminists that are going to stumble upon this YouTube video. When you say pressure her against her will, you don't actually mean like. Can you elaborate on what you mean by that?
Oh, okay,
Because
yeah,
it can sound like slightly unbecoming.
okay, yeah. So yeah, me and Gabriel Gray pull these two girls home. I feel like okay, so this girl seems into me. I'm whatever. I'm making her laugh. She's like laughing at me. She likes my vibe, etc. Like I even hug her and shit. Like we make pizza together. We put it in the oven, and then me and her are on the couch. David is sitting right of her, and I see Gabriel isolating his girl to my room. Uh, to try to see if he can to see if they can have sex, because she was super into Gabriel Gray, and it seemed like she wanted to get isolated by him, so he goes for it.
She wants to get isolated.
Yeah, she was like, "Yeah, isolate me right now, bitch."
She was DTI down to isolate. Okay.
Get down to isolate. So yeah, so he takes her into my room, and there's another room. So I see this as a key. Okay, well, my girl is left alone, and she seems into me. So I'll just take her to the other room, and see if I can escalate on her, and then have sex with her. So when that happens, uh, like like I ask her to stand up, and she says no. And then I actually grab her hand. I just pull it a little bit, like not forcefully, but like I don't even realize that she's resisting. She's like, no, I don't want to go anywhere. I'll just sit on the couch. She said that like a few times, and that's when I gave up. And and at this point, even David was saying, "Yo, dude, like just don't do that. She's just not into you. You're totally done with her. Forget about her because it seems like she's more into me." That's what David was saying. And yeah,
That's pretty to add a little humorization. That's pretty typical David advice. She's
yeah,
more into me. Yeah, she's yeah, dude. I think you're done. She's more into me.
yeah. Did you see how she was giving me looks?
Do you
Did
see
you
how she
see
was staring at my?
how
Do you
she
see
picked
how
up
she was
this pinky
staring at my
finger towards me?
beard as I wiped the Cheeto stains off it? Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah. So I was like still frustrated. Like, what the fuck is happening? How am I not able to do this? And like just after this, like a 1 week after, Gabriel pulls this really cute chick who's like super kinky. She's like super submissive, but she's into like super kinky stuff, like getting tied up, like doing shibari. Shibari is like this technique for tying up women with like a rope, like tying it totally all over their body, which actually like gives them a pain and pleasure at the same time. Um, so yeah, like this was that kind of girl, and she wanted like that dominant man who can like fuck the shit out of her. Which Gabriel's game is pretty much surround like pretty much revolving around being really dominant. So he does that. He takes her home. He takes her to her hotel, and then he fucks her. And then the next day, Gabriel like he never had a threesome before, so he just tries to see if he can actually have a threesome with her. So he takes this girl out for hunting in Excess. This was an Excess. Was one of the best nightclubs in Vegas. I think like probably the best in the world because it's so good during summers. It's like night swim. Like every girl is like running around in bikinis, and it's so fucking like every girl seems like very social to you as long as they're not creepy. So anyway, so he's going. He does like this. Like he's trying to like just get her to game. Gabriel Gray is trying to get this girl to game another other girls so that he could have threesomes. And I mean, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, well, there's not going to be just one girl in the club roaming around. It's going to be like two girls or three girls. So if there's two
Damn,
girls,
dude.
probably he
You're such an outside the box thinker. You thought there was gonna be more than one girl at the club.
yeah, it's that's the reason why. Yeah.
It's the
So
reason why you are where you are.
yeah,
It's the reason for the success. The outside the box thinking. All right, so go ahead.
yeah. So so I was like, okay, well, there's going to be more than one girl, so either me or David can take the other girl, or if there's two girls, me and David can take one each. So I just tag along with this threesome hunt. And while I was doing this threesome hunt, like I overhear the girl telling to Gabriel, "Yo, this guy's creepy. This guy's weird." So overhear this, and I have this like I had this like fuck. I had like this a surge of testosterone. Like I'm all of a sudden I feel super aggressive. I'm like I feel like my ego is hurt. So I was like, okay, fuck. I'm just gonna go and game by myself throughout the club. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck what happens today. I'm just gonna go and game by myself. So like I just leave Gabriel and her and even David, and then I just roam around the club, starting to approach women. And seems like my vibe was coming across all of a sudden very differently, and a lot of girls were actually like responding positively to me. I was even like using some of Gabriel's techniques of like disqualifications, push pulls, all of these uh, pickup terms, which are used to like generate attraction. Um, so I was doing this, and one girl was super into me, um, and like I thought I could easily pull her, but I like disqualified too much. Like I disqualified the sex too much, and at some point she was like, "Okay, well, I feel like this guy is not gonna fuck me at all, so I'm just gonna go home." That's what she said. Because she even asked, "Okay, well, you're saying about this after party, but is it gonna be like sex?" She asked me that, and I was so stupid. I said, "No, it's not gonna be about sex. We're just gonna have drink and chill." Like that's so stupid because like she
We're
asked.
gonna have what? Great what?
I said we're just gonna grab wine and chill.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That shit works. That shit works if you have like a super sexual vibe. I
Exactly.
like sometimes before my little health saga, I would like troll girls. I'd be like they'd be like, what are we gonna do at your place? And like I would just like get really close and whisper in the ear, like just like real fucking seductive, like be like, watch TV, like troll the shit out of them, but like they got the hint. So that was that's I think that's like the best way to go in those situations. But yeah, if you don't come off like if you're coming off platonic and then you give them a platonic answer, they're like, okay, well, this is gonna be a waste of time. Because most girls have had that. Like they've gone home with a guy and then the guy just beats around the bush for like 8 hours and then
Yeah,
they fall asleep.
exactly.
Yeah. So girls are haunted by like those experiences. You
Exactly.
know,
Exactly. Yeah, as I had no experience, so as I had no experience, I couldn't even understand like why she was asking me that. Anyway, she was like super hot. After that, I'm like, oh fuck, god damn it, I missed this chance. It's fine. I'll just roam around a little. I'll roam around in the club a little more. So I roam around, and then there's this middle bar section in excess where I see this like stunner making out with a girl while that girl is being fingered by a guy right there in the club. The guy is behind her and he's like fingering the girl my target was making out with. Yeah, so I was like, okay, well, it seems like this girl is already turned on, so maybe my work is half done already. I just have to approach. That's what I was thinking. So I go up, I walk up very aggressively, and just lock myself at the bar. Like I lean back on the bar, and I just do like a cold read. I'm like, "Hey, you're definitely Swedish, aren't you?" That's what I say. And she like smiles at me and says, "No, no, not at all. I'm totally American." Something like that. And I simply say, just another American. Oh my God, that's what I say. And she like laughs because I sort of challenged her. Like I was not like one of those nice guys like, oh my God, you're American. I love America. I didn't say that. So I challenge her, so she instantly laughs, and she seems like she's hooked. It's not like she's into me, but she's hooked. So I just I just do this for a little bit, like 10 to 15 minutes. I show interest first, and then I show disinterest instantly. Um, at some point, like uh, at some point, I even ask her like, "Do you remember my name, by the way?" Um, and then she says, "Oh my God, fuck! I'm so sorry. I totally forgot your name." She says that like she seems like super guilty. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna make her feel a little more guilty and see if I can and see if I can get something out of this. So what I do is like I usually play even now I play this little game where I ask the girls to guess my name, and if they don't, I just tell them I'll give them the first letter of my name, and if they get it right, they get to kiss me. I don't say that I'll kiss her, I'll kiss him, I'll kiss her. Oops. I don't say that I'll kiss her. I'll just say you get to kiss me.
what the
And
fuck? We never played this game when I was in Colombia.
huh?
What the fuck? We never played this game when we were in Colombia.
Yeah, I would need a little bit more trust before I play that.
Anyways, I'm disappointed, but go ahead.
Yeah. So so yeah, I tell her uh, I tell the first letter of my name. I say N, and she's like, okay, let me guess. Okay, is it Nile? And she says some random name, even though that's not my name. I'll be like, fuck yeah, that's my name. And then I'm about to go for the kiss, and she all of a sudden draws back, and she's like, no, 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 don't do it because my boyfriend's watching. I was like, holy shit, okay, her boyfriend is in the club. That's so weird. And I ask her, okay, where is your boyfriend? And she's like, oh, he's behind me playing at the tables. I don't really know how her boyfriend looks like, so I'm like, I just make it seem like I'm looking at the tables, and I see, and I just tell to her, well, your boyfriend is not watching, and she looks back. The boyfriend is really not watching, and then she looks back at me, and then she just makes out with me hardcore. And then that's when I realized, okay, well, she seems into me. She seems DTF, all the right green lights. All I have to do is like pull her outside the club because the club, well, the boyfriend is in the club, and also I need a seduction location. So all I have to do is like take this girl out. That's what I was thinking in my mind. So I was trying to like isolate her, to get her to meet my friends first. She doesn't come. I get her to say, come to the bar with me. She doesn't come. I tell her that we are going on an adventure. She doesn't come. At this point, like I understand, like maybe she has like an objection of, okay, what's gonna happen between us? Is it gonna be how is it gonna be weird, or what's up? What's gonna happen between us? So I was like, okay, I mean, I'm gonna ask you a question. This I won't judge you at all. Have you ever cheated on your boyfriend before? And she's like, yeah, I have cheated once. Like she looks like this cat who stole the fish bowl, or like who stole the fish from the fish bowl. She looks like super guilty. But then I don't make her feel even more guilty. What I do is I do the exact opposite. I tell, oh my god, that's fucking awesome. I love girls who are like comfortable with their sexuality, and that's amazing that you went for it without thinking about what the society would think. And she's like, oh, thanks a lot for thinking that. I appreciate it. She says that. So I'm basically like I was rewarding her good behavior towards me, bad behavior towards a boyfriend, but like she doesn't see it. So I qualify her on this, and after that, like I try to isolate even more, but she keeps saying no. At one point, her friend tells this girl, "Hey, I lost my phone. Holy shit!" And then this girl is like, "Oh fuck, okay. Well, let's talk to security." She talks to the bar, and the person says, "Yeah, yeah, we found the phone. We just gave it to security, and the security took it to the lost and found. So if you go there, you'll find the phone." That's what the bartender says. And then this is when it clicks me. Holy shit! I can use this to isolate this girl. I say, "Oh hey, we have to go and search for your friend's phone. Let's do it." And she complies. She's like, "Okay, yeah, let's do that." And then we both start. I start walking front, and this girl, such a savage, she goes back to her boyfriend. She says, "Hey, so my friend lost her phone, so I'm gonna go and get that phone and then come back inside." That's what she says, and this fucking loser lets her go. Let's her go by herself while this guy is like playing at the fucking blackjack table as if he's like winning $1 million. Even if I, yes, that was so bad. So he was sitting there by himself, and he let her go by herself. I made it I made it sure
What a
that,
dumbass.
huh?
Like, the guy is such a fucking dumbass.
Yeah, he's just a dumbass.
I
So
mean,
anyway,
I feel bad for the dude. Like, but you know, it's kind of like feeling bad for the guy who like who says he's gonna go on a diet, and then the first date eats a shitload of Cheetos and like
exactly.
fucking passes out behind the wheel and gets into a car crash, and I don't know.
Yeah, that's the worst case scenario. But
Not the best example, but yeah. Well, yeah. So go ahead. So what
yeah,
happens next?
so I start walking front, and slowly she creeps from behind. She's like following me, and what I do is like I slowly go into the club, and then when I go into the club, I know that the boyfriend is not watching or anything. That's when I pull her hand, hug her, and then I make out like heavily, because I want to turn her on so much that I can either take her to a bathroom or just take her to my car.
Yeah. You're turning me on so much right now that I might have to go to the bathroom with a storytelling. Okay, so go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, I do that, and then I start walking outside the club. I parked my car in the parking lot that day. Even though they were charging for parking, I was like, yeah, might as well just take the car, because the Uber is going to be a little cheaper, but it's going to be inconvenient. That's what I was thinking. So I got the car. So so the parking lot is on the left, and the lost and found is on the right. And what I do is I simply go on the left, even though even though the security guard tells me that the lost and found is on the right. I simply go left, and she sees it. She sees it, and she follows me anyway. And she's like, "We are gonna come back, right?" And I don't even stop. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, we'll be back." I just say that like with a lot of assertiveness, and and she's like, "Okay." And then I park in third floor. We're at the second floor. We get into the elevator. I'm making out with her, and then I reach out under her skirt, and I realize that she's not wearing any panties. So I was like, okay, fuck yeah, this girl wants to fuck. So when I realized that, I'm like, holy shit, you're not wearing any panties, and she's like, no. Again, like she comes across like a little guilty, a little too guilty. I'm like, oh, that's fucking awesome. That's what I say. I like encourage her behavior to do so.
I'm
So
not wearing any panties either.
huh?
I'm not wearing any panties either.
So sexy.
Are you? Are you going to reward my behavior? Okay, so go ahead.
Yes,
Adding a little comedic relief to this epic tale.
exactly. Yeah, and then I walk to my car. I had this like super dirty 2001 Toyota Camry car. Like I bought it. Yeah, I bought it when it was like 14 years old. Bought it like, and it's so dirty. And I still take her to the car, and I just open the back door and I say, "Sit down." I just say, "Sit down." I don't even give her any reason why we're sitting down. And so she just sits down in the back seat. I sit down, and then I just pull my pants down, and she just starts sucking me. And I come in like 20 seconds. After that, I fuck her. I fuck her, and then yeah, like I fuck her for like 10 minutes, and then she's like, "Oh my god, that felt so good." She says that as well, and then like we are done. So I'm like, she keeps like people are walking around like in the parking lot, so I had to stop, or else I would have kept going. Like I would have even probably gone for round two, because like she was still down, like she was still there anyway. It was me who was the one. Okay, let's go back because there were people who were walking around, and I didn't want to get banned just for fucking girl. So yeah, we get out of the car. I'm just taking her by the hand. I'm taking her back. I'm taking her back to security or lost and found, where she goes inside. While she's inside, her boyfriend comes out the club searching for her. And I even talked to the boyfriend. Hey man, I'm Nitin. Oh sorry, I'm Indian PE. I was just with your girlfriend. We were trying to search for the phone of your of the other girl. So I'm gonna head out now. And he's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And then she comes out, like she's like smelling like dick, but that guy, I don't even know if he realizes it. Uh, and then later on, I mean, like, yeah, that's when David Swift even looks at her and he's like, "Holy fuck, did you actually fuck this girl? Oh my god, I'm so fucking jealous. How the fuck can you do that? How the fuck did you do it? All that shit." Like he tells this, and it's like a sigh of relief. Like that's when I lost my virginity. This was like, I think I even remember the date, August 8th, 2017. I think that's when I lost my virginity. After a year long of running around stumbling with like a headless chicken, that's when I lost my virginity.
Dude, that's a pretty fucking crazy epic story. But okay, so you were let's back up here. So you were how you said a year, but you had been trying longer than that. How long? So you were how old when this happened?
This was when I was 26.
And how old were you when you came to America? 21?
21, yep.
So really, it was a 5 year journey.
Basically, yeah. I mean, like, if anything, it's it's a it's a journey from when I was 18. You know?
So 18 is when you started trying to get laid,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, exactly.
So 18 to 26. So we're talking, my math isn't the best, but 8 year journey.
Yeah, 8 is correct. 8 years, like 8 years of. I mean, I didn't know game until I was 25. 25, So, but like still, like I wanted to get laid somehow. Like I was even doing like there was this game called Fun Run, and I was like trying to hit up girls through Fun Run to see if I could like actually fuck girls. Because and I actually came across like a couple of 18-year-olds who were like all the way across the world. Like there was this girl who was like in from Dominican Republic, and I actually texted her, and she seemed super into me. But she needed someone to buy the ticket so that she can come and stay with me. And why? But I was staying with family, so I couldn't do it. I was even trying all that shit. Like I was trying everything, but still I couldn't.
Dude, so
Nothing could stick.
you spent. I mean, like this is just such an epic number. You spent 8 years trying to get laid. And props to you for two reasons. One is that you did not give up. I feel like vast majority of dudes, like by year two, they would be like bitter as fuck and would have quit.
Exactly.
Like 8 years, dude. Think about it. Imagine like you were trying to learn how to ride a bike and it took you 8 fucking years to learn how to ride a bike. Like you spent 8 years just falling off the bike every single time. You got a little closer. Sometimes you would make it down the street, but every single time you would fall off the bike, right? That's
Mhm.
kind of what was happening to you emotionally, though. Like there's no like physical downside to like not being successful with women. Well, actually, I think it fucks with your head hardcore. That's my theory, but yeah, that's crazy. 8 years and you stuck with it, and then kudos to you because you lost your virginity in pretty much the most epic way.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I can't even really think of a way it could be more epic. Like maybe if the boyfriend started crying or something like that.
That would have been painful for him.
He's like, you begged my girlfriend, didn't you?
Yeah.
You evil Indian man.
And funny enough, um, I realized later that I mean, like I had her Instagram. I took her number, but she accidentally gave me a fake number, or on purpose she gave me a fake number because she just wanted it to be a one time thing. Obviously, because she has a boyfriend she lives with, and like they go to the same workplace, etc. So probably she gave me the fake number on purpose. Um, and then I asked.
I like how you went from she gave me a fake number by accident to she gave me a fake number on purpose in less than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
When reality sets in.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so yeah, uh, I remembered her name, so I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna search for her on Facebook. This was like after 2 months after I lost my virginity. This was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna search for her on Facebook. I type her first name and then I just write Las Vegas after. And then I realized I actually find her. It was super easy to find her because she had like 3,000 friends. She was, I think, like she has a very high social value. Like she has a lot of friends, a lot of hot friends because she's a hot girl. So people want to be her friends. Um, so like I see her, I come across her, and 2 weeks after I send her a friend request. She adds me back. That was so funny. She adds me back. Uh, 2 weeks after that, she makes an announcement on Facebook that she's pregnant.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and then she even writes the due date. And then I look back, I'm thinking, okay, well, I came even before I went inside her, and when I did fuck, I put on a condom, so I think we should be fine. So like I even see the due date, like on by calculation, I was when I see it, it's like 8 months from when I lost my virginity. So so basically, she was like maybe 2 weeks or 10 days pregnant when I fucked her, and I saw the
Damn.
baby. The baby has no like. It doesn't seem like she has any
Imagine the
genetic
baby
issues.
comes out looking exactly like you. It's like all Indian and shit. Like has like a beard. Like for some reason the baby has a beard. Is like wearing like glasses and shit.
Imagine that, huh?
Talks in like an Indian accent for like no reason. Like it's like why is the baby like, why is the baby speaking with an Indian accent? Like, I don't know, but we're gonna love it anyway. All right, so let's you're this was 26. You're 28 now, right?
Yeah,
I met you when you were 27,
yeah.
28,
27 last year September.
27. And by that point, you had already been by that point you had been banging quite a few girls.
Yeah,
Which I personally, witnessed. Well, didn't witness, but you know what I mean.
yeah,
So, can you describe? Because it sounds like you have like a, I don't know what they call, like a kind of like a curve, like an S curve or whatever, where it just like progressively gets better and better in a
yeah.
shorter amount of time.
Mhm.
So what uh, like just beliefs, mindsets, actions. What happened after you lost your virginity? Like, how did you go from okay, the guy that gets nothing to the guy that's banging more girls than half of India?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think like my biggest mind shift came when I went to South Africa in November 2017, because like Gabriel Gray was teaching a lot of like things. I mean, a lot of well, skill set comes first than the girl. Skill set is much greater than one particular girl, and which actually made me click in my mind. It was like, oh shit, yeah, of course. Like, why am I so ego invested with one single girl I always talk to? Like, whenever I talk to a girl, and if I couldn't pull her, I used to just fucking go home or something. Like, that's how I was struggling. I wasn't being persistent throughout the night. I was being like persistent in little intervals throughout the night, but not fully. So that was one of my main sticking points. And when I went to South Africa, like that's when it sort of switched in my mind that I have to
So basically,
focus.
basically, what clicked for you was don't get emotionally attached to like one particular. I mean, it's kind of like a very I don't know, very crude term, but basically don't get attached to a target, right? Like
Exactly.
like treat interactions like leads, like sales, right? Like
Exactly.
you're not going to get attached to one prospect. Every girl you talk to is a potential prospect.
Exactly.
And then if one prospect doesn't work out, it doesn't necessarily mean it's your fault. It
Exactly.
just means that that prospect, for whatever reason, might not be able to be closed.
Yes.
Okay, so that was like a big shift for you. What are some other ones that you had?
Okay. Other ones were that I had to build up my sexual market value. When I was following RSD, like they were teaching a lot of well, looks don't matter at all. They don't matter shit or something, you know. And I'm like I was actually having super. I was actually eating super disgusting food, unhealthy food, and like I do not care about my SMV. And then like I realized like the guys who are actually fucking, even though they don't look as good, they are looking a little better just because they were improving their fashion, they're working out regularly, etc. They were maintaining a healthy lifestyle. So it's basically like I started focusing on respecting my body and respecting myself before like trying to get one single girl, because like all of this is contributing towards my end goal of fucking more than one hot girl. That was my end goal. Like I wanted to go towards I mean I wanted to be like one of the best Indian pickup artists, I guess, because like I mean seemed cool to me, like seemed amazing to me, like to understand women's psychology and like have this process of developing myself, developing my personality, etc. So yeah, that's another mindset which changed me. And
When
another
did you realize that? Like, what made you kind of realize that sexual market value does matter?
like I was seeing like Gabriel Gray and his friends. He had a black he has this black friend. His name is Tumelo. He's part of the surgical pickup group. He's an instructor as well. He's so focused on fashion because he knows. I mean, he's fucked more girls than me, obviously. So he knows that fashion is very important to him. I mean, David used to recommend this a lot to me, but like David has like below average fashion, but like he doesn't care about it because he knows that he gets girls anyway.
I disagree with you on that. David can be so if you know I've stayed with David and lived with him,
Yeah,
and you know around the house he's just a giant slob.
yeah,
But when he goes out, he makes himself quite presentable. Like his beard, his hair, like everything is always on point.
that's true.
One time when I was trying to grow out my beard, like I asked David, like, "Yo, do you have any advice?" He gave me like fucking. He wrote like a fucking book on like beard maintenance. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know if I want to like fucking spend 20 minutes every day massaging my beard with these expensive oils and shit. But yeah, when he goes out, David makes himself look very presentable.
that's true.
Like
That's very true.
I just don't. He just does it subconsciously. Like he doesn't even think about it. It's just like I've never seen David go out looking like a slob.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true because
He
like
save he saves his slobbiness for like when he's around the house, pretty much. Even when funny thing, me and David debated this because usually when I have dates, they're straight to the house. Dude, I just fucking like I'm like in my pajamas, like pretty much. That's my standard go-to is pajamas and whatever, like a t-shirt or something like that.
yeah,
Um, and David's always like, dude, you got a girl coming over, you're gonna put on some pants. I'm like, nope.
exactly, exactly. I know.
And I can pull it off. Like for me, it's fine. But David, like even when it's straight to the house, he will still make himself like very, he'll dress up nice and shit. So I've definitely noticed that about him.
That's very true. That's very true. Like he takes care of his hair and beard so much. Even to me, he gave a lot of advice with the beard.
Dude, he treats his beard like it's like a child or something like that. He like nurses it and shit. So he's got yeah, he's definitely got that. Okay, so you kind of saw that click, and yeah, I remember when David introduced me to you. I
Yeah,
remember like looking at your whatever, like I was like, all right, let's see what this kid looks like. I looked at your Facebook picture,
yeah,
and I'm like, oh yeah, like you look like pretty trendy. You don't look like a fobby Indian.
yeah.
And then I think it was David who showed me a picture of you when he first met you, and I'm like, holy fuck. Did this guy look completely different? This is like a fucking 180. Like you look like the biggest fob Indian, just like I don't know, like you were just like basically like on your way to 7-Eleven to sell Slurpees. And now
Exactly.
now you got like you dress pretty trendy, like you got like the beard going and shit. Like so, I definitely think your fashion SMV did a big 180.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Was there any other big ones? Like one more big one?
Um,
Mindset change.
yeah. Another one is like uh, not to be a pussy. Whenever like a girl used to give me shit, I used to let her give me shit. So I lost a lot of closes that way. Um, all I mean, like
What do
all
you
the
What
girls
do you
were
mean
doing.
What do you mean by you would let her give you shit? Like
Like
you
let's
would
say
just you would just let her abuse you or something?
I would just let her like be rude to me or be disrespectful to me. I would just let her do that um, because I was thinking, okay, well, this. I mean, if I because I was thinking wrong. I was thinking that, oh well, if I stop her, I'm probably gonna lose this girl. But eventually, I realized that if anything,
It's the other way. If you
yeah,
don't
you have
stop her,
to.
you're 100% gonna lose her.
Exactly. So you have to assert your boundaries. You have to assert it
Yeah,
without being butthurt. That's only going to
yeah.
happen if
That's
you're.
just the key is without being butthurt. Like
Yeah,
girls, pretty much vast majority of girls will give you shit to see what kind of guy you are before sleeping with you.
exactly.
And the two things you can do wrong is one, let her give you shit, and two, get butthurt and try to defend yourself in a butthurt way.
Yeah,
But if you can assert your boundaries in like a non butthurt way, like in a like this doesn't affect me, but you better cut the shit kind of attitude, then the girl gains massive respect and attraction. I've seen this time in and time again. Because I actually also used to be in that same boat. Like I used to think I'm like, well, like if I say something, I'll probably lose it. But then like I would lose it anyway. So I'm like, okay, well, might as well try saying something. And then like, holy shit, like the girl actually got more attracted.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah,
What
that
made
was.
you? When did that shift happen? Like, what made you make that conclusion?
Um, okay, this was this. Clearly remember this one. Um, so there was this girl, really cute Canadian chick I met online. This was, I think, last year, 2018, March or April. That's when like the summer of Vegas was starting. So this really cute chick, and then like I text gamed her. By this time, I was just like starting to learn text game from David, and I was like messaging a bunch of girls, like somewhere hitting, somewhere not hitting. So this girl was like, she was curious to meet up with me, and I even sent her pictures, and she's like, oh yeah, you're just my type. Apparently, she doesn't like white guys. So most girls who like me just don't like white guys in general at all. So like those are the girls which are easier for me, I guess.
The
Anyway.
fuck? Don't like white guys. The fuck is this reverse racism shit?
Oh yeah, yeah. There's this girl I'm talking to from another state right now, and she says that she fucking hates white guys, and she's dated like a couple of Indian dudes already.
Dude, I no, but I actually know what you're talking about. One of my good buddies, Tim, in case people don't know who he is, he's a black guy. But yeah, he was telling me about some Latina he met when he was like in Miami visiting, but he's not from here.
Yeah.
And then he's telling me about her. I'm like, oh damn, she sounds hot. He's like, yeah, but whatever. I'm not going back to Miami. I'm like, yo, why don't you hook me up? He's like, nah, man. It won't work. I'm like, what do you mean it won't work? Like, she's like, she just hates white guys. I'm like, the fuck is this shit? Hates white guys. All right, whatever.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. So
At least the police doesn't shoot us, so at least I got that.
you got
Comfort
that
me
going
as I
for you.
cry by myself alone at night. Because no girls like white guys. All right, so you had those three big shifts.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, the
Any
story
other
is like,
ones? Oh, sorry, I cut you
yeah,
off in front of this. Okay, so go ahead.
yeah, yeah. So this Canadian chick, she's like super down to meet, and she's down to like down to fuck as well. I even talk about my superior oral skills, so she's like quite curious of getting eaten out. Um, so so yeah, like she comes over and she's like constantly talking. She's like trying to take the frame away. At some point, I knew like I almost lost it. And I text David while this was happening. I text David, hey, so I told this girl like about the oral skills, and she came here to get eaten out by me. But right now she's giving me a lot of shit. Like she's constantly talking. She's like taking the frame away, and whenever I try to escalate, she just like draws back. That's what she's doing. She like steps back or something. Like she's feeling uncomfortable or whatever. So just David tells me, okay, this is exactly what you have to say, but in a very sweet tonality, like not a butthurt tonality at all, like exactly the way I'm speaking right now. So like he says, he texts me exactly what to say. He tells me to say, hey, it was nice meeting you. Uh, uh, Good luck on your search. Just that, just that. He just tells me to say that, and he tells me to get up and open the door without like kicking her out, fuck off, something like that, without
Yeah.
being rude or butthurt. So I just do exactly that. I get up and I'm like, hey, it was great knowing you. I need to get back to work. I'll text you later. That's what I said. Like how girls generally do it, like that's how they do it. Like if they want to kick you out. So I do the exact same thing, and she's like, no, 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 I'll stay. No, I think I want to stay. Like because she feels super needy saying that because
You
she
com-
actually
you
felt
complete you
attracted.
completely you completely flip the frame.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, showing a willingness to walk away just gives you massive, massive massive like leg up. All right, so go ahead, man.
Yeah, as soon as that happens, as soon as as I close the door, she starts escalating on me. I fuck in the next 10 minutes because she understood that I'm not gonna take her shit. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna let her go. Like I'm not gonna be ego invested. That's when I realized like this was like the biggest mind shift. I think after that my text game got even better because like I was consciously willing to lose my leads. Like I was getting a bunch of leads, but I was constantly willing to lose leads. I was like so very less ego invested that even like if the girls were trying to give me shit over text, I used to just calmly tell them, hey, if you're just not interested, that's totally not a problem. We just won't meet. I used to just say that, and girls used to get attracted. They used to like start chasing. That's when I realized, like, okay, well, it makes sense because who would do this? A guy who has a lot of options would do this. So like a guy without options is going to be super needy. Like so that's when I realized, okay, this is a good way to communicate that I have a lot of options. Like not letting her give me shit, plus not letting her plus not being attached to her, like letting her walk away. That's one of the biggest mindsets, which again like got me a bunch of more days last year.
Uh-huh. Yeah, man. And what did you learn from I mean you lived with David for a while.
Yeah.
Uh that's kind of like basically I would call it like a nonstop boot camp combined with random personal favor requests like being driven to Costco.
Yeah.
But what what were the key things? Like what did you learn from that, from living with David, being with David? Well, not well, actually I don't really know what the fuck you guys do in Vegas, but you know, yeah, what
uh,
happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, so.
yeah. So yeah, what I learned from him were at first when I just started getting into text game last year, like the start of the last year, uh, I was uh, I was like just blatantly using his lines. The context was still right because I was asking him exactly what to text, and he used to just tell me, and I used to text. The contexts were exactly right, but then like all of these leads I used to lose anyway. And then whenever I used to ask David, David used to be like, well, it doesn't seem like you're showing any personality on your text. It just doesn't seem like you're being real with them. And like that really did not resonate with me unless until I started like just trying a random shit. Like I was literally like self-amusing over text. Um, that's when I realized like David used to give me lot of advice to have a very wide range of tonality if you're talking to a girl in person. And that's when I realized like it's even possible to do the same thing over text. Like what does showing a variation of tonality mean? Like just showing that you have a lot of personality. You can that means like you can communicate things in many different ways. Like you can be sarcastic, so you can feel witty just from the tonality. Like the girls can recognize because that's how girls are. Like they can recognize anything subtle, or like they can recognize subtle things much more with much more, I guess, intensity than us. We are just like logical people, but they recognize the change in emotions, and the change in tonality equals change in emotions. So that's what like that's sort of a math equation which started developing in my head. How can I how can I start showing personality or start showing different tonalities over text? So that's when I
Okay.
tried
So,
different things.
uh-huh. What okay, that sounds like a big one. What are if you could like can you try to list them, like just if we go like line by line, what are like the like what's the first most important thing you learned from David, the second most important thing, third most important thing? Give me like the top five.
Okay, first one is don't be a pussy.
Don't be a pussy. Okay.
Yeah, uh, you know what the right things to do are. Just do it.
Touche, touche. Okay, what about number two?
Number two is improve your fashion on your and your overall lifestyle.
Okay,
Number
definitely
three,
solid.
yeah, number three is communicating personality through tonality and texting.
Mm-hmm.
And number four is to recognize when a girl can sense weakness and when she's pouncing on that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And number five should be all girls are dirty sluts to the right guy.
Ha! Touche, man.
Mm.
I like that. That's a good way to sum it up.
Yeah.
Um, all right, and yeah, I would comment on because I spent a month. We spent about a month or whatever, 3.5 weeks living in Colombia,
Mm.
and I have my own theory on why you became successful.
Mhm.
Um, what do you, I'm kind of curious though. What do you think is the reason why you had a rough journey. Like there's no if, ands, or buts about it. Most people don't spend 8 years trying to lose their virginity. For most people, it happens fairly fast.
Mm.
Dude, I was like, I was far from a stud in high school, but like when I got to college, it took me. My journey was about a year. Like a fucking 8 years, dude. I don't know. I would have became like a monk or something. Joined like a brotherhood or something. Just be brewing beer and wearing like funky robes.
Become
But
an incel.
yeah, yeah. So, what do you think is the reason why you were able to succeed in the end?
Um, I think like patience. I guess patience. A lot of patience in trying to get better at this.
Here's my answer. I
Mm.
think it's two things. It's a hunger. You
Mm.
have you have this hunger to succeed, and I don't think it's just limited to women. Like your work ethic is just like fucking like 10 out of 10. Like it's like it's so rare nowadays in like the modern age, the age of comfort, everyone's comfortable where people are like most people are just lazy. They
Mm.
give up fast. They just don't have that like burning desire. And I feel like, by the time I met you, you're already banging a lot of girls, but you just have this like you have this drive. Like when I met you, you were like trying to get into doing a little bit of coaching with PWF and you just had this like drive to like like help people like it's just like and I think you have the same drive to get good with girls. I like for example I remember when like I went to the gym with you like you were just like you were like you didn't know what the fuck you were doing, no offense in the gym, but you
Yes.
had this drive to figure it out and like get better. Like you didn't slack off. Like every day I wanted to go to the gym, you were just down. You were like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't make excuses. You didn't bitch. You weren't like, oh, this hurts, that hurts. You were like, let's go to the gym.
Mm.
Like, you're like, yeah. Few days, you were like, yo, are we going to go to the gym? You
Mm.
know? So you have this just like crazy work ethic. That's the first thing.
Mm.
The second thing, because work ethic alone isn't enough.
Mm.
The second thing is a willingness to learn,
Mm.
to basically admit that you don't have all the answers, that you don't know it all, and that you're willing to learn from others. Like when we went to, the gym together, you didn't like fucking you had been doing some weird like fucking basically what you were doing is like bodybuilder workouts, for people who take steroids,
Yeah.
supersets and all that. I'm like, bro, like you have to work your muscles. You have to progressively lift heavier. You have to work your muscles so you're tired. Like if you're not leaving the gym and having some soreness, you didn't really fucking do shit. And you didn't like debate me. You were, you weren't like stuck. You were like, okay, I'm gonna give this a shot. And then remember, you had like your first real workout. You're like, holy shit, my chest is sore for the first time ever. I'm like,
Exactly.
we just had a real workout. So I think the same thing. I mean, I know you told me that initially you had a bit of an ego and you were stuck with RSD, but I think once you let that go and you were willing to learn from guys like David and Gabriel, that's when you were basically able to be successful.
Mm. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, that makes sense. Mm.
I think those are like the two key things. And I'm curious about this. What advice would you give? Because there's a lot of Indian guys out there who, I mean, at this point, I don't think you see you like I've never seen you make excuses. Like you don't have any limiting beliefs about being Indian or any of that shit anymore, right?
No, no.
You did at one point though,
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
I had so many insecurities, like it's especially like for being bald, for being a little dark skinned, for being a little, I mean, a little overweight. But I could fix that, obviously I could fix that. But I was like, I think I was at like 190 pounds. I had insecurities surrounding that as well. Yeah.
So what advice would you give to like, the I guess a billion Indian men, right? I'm
Yeah.
being optimistic, assuming a billion people are going to watch this video. What advice would you give who are like who have that like they're whatever they're not successful women and they have these insecurities. They think that they're because they're Indian, they're fucked. They have to go the arranged marriage route or whatever. What advice would you give to them?
I would say no excuses. If a bald, average-looking, sort of ugly-looking Indian can do it, then anyone can. Like anyone can. Like they just. I mean, I'm not saying they should remain the same way. Like they should try to do everything in their power to improve their lifestyle, improve their mindsets. But if I can do it, anyone can.
So basically, what you're saying is that look at your story and be inspired. Basically, look, I'm exactly like you. Like I can if I can do it, you have no excuses.
Exactly. Like yeah, I want people to get inspired by it and by my story and actually stop making excuses and go for it.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, obviously, like the I can't relate to being an Indian man who's a virgin, but or can I, my friend? No, but how what I'm inspired by is your work ethic. Like that to me is like always just been like pretty admirable, I would say.
Mm.
Um, just like you have your job and then all the shit you do in the mastermind writing articles, just all of that. I still find time to go out, go to the gym, get all that shit done, like no excuses,
Mm.
which I like.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I don't want to say I like, it's just like admirable. It's an admirable quality. What advice though would you give to those Indian guys? Like you had a long journey, and I'm sure if you could travel back in time, you could shave like a significant amount of time off that journey.
Mm.
What would you say to those Indian guys who are struggling, so that they don't have to go through that 8-year journey to lose their virginity, so it can be a lot faster for them? What are some shortcuts you can give them?
Um, yeah, I would say like have zero ego, have zero fucking ego. Be willing to be rejected. Be willing to like be brought down by everything. Like let's say like an unsupportive family, or let's say like your Indian chode friends who think that you probably can't do anything anyway. Like if people are like not encouraging you towards reaching your goal, try to try to change people around you. um like yeah, that's I spent like 2 years in my masters. I wasted all that time being with guys who were equally at my stage, and like they used to try to bring me down whenever I used to like talk to a girl. Like they used to like always try to find faults in it. Like they used to make excuses on behalf of me. So if you have friends like that, just get rid of them, because like fucking Indians are like, I mean, because we are smart people, we are IT workers. Like these are things which people, regular people cannot figure out, and we figure it out. So yeah, I mean, I guess yeah, that's one thing. And yeah, if once you start learning what's the right thing to do, just do it. Like you just realize that this is what's supposed to be done. Just do it. There's no excuses.
Yeah, I think that's a big one that you said is the ego thing. Like if you can drop the ego and just be willing to learn, what it comes down to for anything you're trying to learn, there's always someone, like, no one has to reinvent the wheel anymore, right?
Exactly.
Uh, for everything that, whatever you're trying to learn, marketing, business, weightlifting, fucking, or being successful with women, it's already been done. And it's 2019. There's shitloads of information. I mean, you can make the argument there's a lot of wrong information out there,
Mm.
and it's a valid argument. But once
Yeah.
you find the right information, but you have to be willing to drop the ego and be willing to learn. What I find fascinating is that most guys, they are like that with other areas of their life. They're willing to learn when it comes to business. They're willing to learn when it comes to this. They're willing to learn when it comes to that. But when it comes to being successful with women, like that one thing, it's like the one thing, I think it's like the average guy that they have an ego with. It's a fascinating thing, but like this is what I just commonly find.
Mm. Yeah, that's for sure. Very true.
Yeah. Okay, man. And what else did I want to ask you? Um, we covered basically your whole story. Where are you at now? Like, what are you currently working on? I mean, I see, you're in the mastermind, you're helping people, you're doing coaching. What's next for Indian P? Where do you see yourself in like 2 years, for example?
Um, I like I'm trying to convert my online game success to cold approach. Like I've seen, I mean, I still have the liberty, or I guess like I had the access to game with the best guys in the world: Gabriel Gray, David Swift, and then Alexander Lernberg, Marcus Wolf, all of these best guys in the world in cold approach.
Oh, I like,
So
I like, I like how I wasn't mentioned in this list. Okay, noted,
you're not
noted.
here. You're in Miami,
Yeah,
and you're sick.
yeah. Let's see if your next article gets published on the Playing with Fire site. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, including you, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, whatever. We now know the truth. That would be funny. I guess I'll have to DHV myself more next time we chill.
Exactly, so that you deserve my respects.
Oh, yeah. All right, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I have the access to game with the best guys in the world. So I mean, it's inevitable that I can be the best, at least Indian pickup instructor or Indian pickup coach, or even just like the Indian with I guess like the Indian who sleeps with the most hot girls consistently on a consistent basis. Like I want to be that. I want to be the epitome of like an Indian dream. Like there's American dream and then there's Indian dream. What's an Indian dream? Like a fobby Indian fucking nines and tens without like paying for them. Paying without paying for them as a hooker. That's what I want to be. I want to be an overall master at cold approach and online game expert. I know I'm getting there with Tinder because I'm getting laid. I'm getting laid. I'm getting guys laid who are like better looking than me, who are like struggling with their text game. I'm getting them laid. So I mean,
I
I
mean,
guess
you're getting a lot of guys laid. Like,
yeah.
you know, well, when David and I gave you the green light to start coaching guys in the mastermind, I mean, how many dudes have you gone? You've gone like well over a dozen
Oh yeah,
guys,
I think
different guys.
it could even go up
Like,
to like 30 people.
yeah,
30 people, and
like,
then like I keep seeing all over the pickup groups of people using my lines even without my knowledge somehow.
oh, dude, yeah, you get used to it. I mean,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's interesting when it first happens. After a while, what's gonna be funny is when you have girls like your fuck buddy sending you screenshots of guys using your lines. That's when
You made it. Yeah.
you made it. Yeah, yeah, I never get tired of that. Hate trouble.
Mm.
These words are gonna haunt me
Yeah.
when I'm like a 90-year-old man rocking in my wheelchair.
my
Um,
famous my famous opener is you're changing the stereotype.
you're what?
You're changing the stereotype. That's the opener. I mean, like I told one of my
Oh,
students
interesting.
to send, and it always gets a reply. So
Yeah. No, I can see that being an interesting one. I might even steal that when I get back on Tinder.
Mm,
Uh, I like stealing shit that from people whose shit works.
mm,
I don't like stealing unsuccessful shit. No, what I wanted to ask you was, oh yeah. So you've gotten a shitload of dudes, late in the mastermind,
yeah.
and you're always like, I mean, like, dude, like usually, like you beat me and David to like the response, like it's like you're like just like I don't know, like just you're just like on this shit, like. I might be like fucking, I see like that post a bunch of screenshots, and I'm writing a response, and bam, you already fucking beat me to it. And what you wrote was quite similar to what I was about to write. So I'm like, well, I guess I don't have to say this anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's
I was
good.
drinking water.
Um, let's see. Is there any? Let's open it up to see if there's any questions from the audience.
Um, I don't see any questions. Like, I think at some point people realize that people thought that this is. Oh yeah, I see one question from Madhav Krishna. I don't know if he's still watching, but he asked, "How long did it take you to get good at your text game?" Um, I would say I think about 6 months last year, from January to June. Like at June, in June, I was I was like getting probably like I think May and June in Vegas. I got like 10 days, 10 lays a month each. That was like a very good month. Plus, I was even canceling on girls. Plus, I was helping Daniel Specht get laid, the hot white guy, hot Chad. I was
All right,
helping
let's
get.
let's let's never refer to our buddy Daniel as a hot white guy, please.
Huh?
Let's never refer to Daniel as the hot white guy, please.
Why not?
I don't know. It's gonna make it very difficult when me and him hang out, and I have to stare into his blue eyes, and all I can think in the
You're gonna
background is
get
him
turned
saying,
on.
hot white guy." Um,
Makes sense. Makes sense.
all right, gotcha. All right, man. And so, you got any closing? Like, what are your closing thoughts? We covered what can the average Indian guy do, who's struggling right now. Um, maybe something see, the thing is it's like I, I feel the struggle that Indian guys go through
Mm.
because it is like, there's like the stereotype. It's like, like the limiting beliefs. I feel it, but like I can't quite relate to it, because I'm not an Indian guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's like I feel what they're going through, but it's like there's like a tad bit of, and I can give them like very accurate advice on what they need to do. But sometimes, like for example, they listen to my advice, but they don't fully buy in because they think that my advice only works because, for example, I'm white, right? Which
Yeah.
is nonsense, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's like not even consciously, subconsciously they think that. But
Mm.
what can you offer them? Like, what can you say? Like, hey, listen, man, like these are the words that like what can you say that will like reach them, like help
Um,
them improve, help them succeed.
yeah. I mean, uh, like even for people who are not Indian, like Indians would probably be like the like lowest or the second lowest in the SMV ladder. So like if I'm seeing success, if you're like a white guy, if you're looking at like an average looking white guy who's not fat or who's like not super short, then you're already beating a lot of guys anyway. Like you're beating a lot of Indian dudes, 500 million of them. So like you have zero excuses to not get better with women. Like everyone wants to be good with women, even though most of them don't admit that they suck at it. So like if you're ever struggling, you just have to think, okay, holy shit. Well, this guy's fucking a lot of hot girls. Like, why the fuck can I not fuck? That's how people should start thinking. Like they should think in those terms. They should take me as comparison. Like, okay, well, this average looking like low SMB ladder guy is doing better than me. How can he do better than me? He should, like, people should have the ego of motivation. Like they shouldn't have an ego of like getting stuck at one point. They should have an ego of making them drive towards their goal, I guess.
Yeah, that makes sense, man. I mean, and that's why I want to do this interview because I find your story very inspirational.
Mm.
And I think that inspiration is really important. I know there's guys who's struggling with this shit. It's like me and you. For us, it's almost like funny. It's like it's like haha, I like getting laid. It's like it's not something we ever have to like sweat, right? Like
Yeah,
the analogy I would give is like someone who has a shitload of food, full fridge, has money, right? They never have to sweat like fucking like oh when am I gonna eat next? Where's my like they don't even like to us. It's not food is not like we think about food, right? But it's not like something we really worry about or we sweat.
yeah,
But like, I think but like, there's guys for who are like hungry and, like double entendre here, but that's what it is. And like, they either they're virgins or, they're frustrated with their sex life. They're dating. Maybe they're thinking they're going to sell with a girl they don't even really like just so they can get laid.
yeah.
And so I think like stories like this are important. It's important to, for, people out there who are listening to this who are struggling to, like stay motivated, like stay positive, like realize that with enough perseverance
Yeah,
and as long as you're willing to drop the ego and learn, it can be accomplished. Like everyone can be where you are.
yeah,
Like there's nothing, you don't have any kind of, any kind of weird genetic advantage or something like that. If anything, like you kind of have a little bit of a disadvantage.
yeah.
And you were able to overcome that. So, that anyone who's listening to this, like this shit can be done. It's not, is it going to happen overnight? No, absolutely not. Is it going to be a struggle? Is it going to be painful at times? Yes, it is. But is it worth it?
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Like the fruits are always like super good because it does not just improve your life with women. It drives you to improve your overall lifestyle. I'm like much healthy than I was. I'm much healthier than I was 2 years ago. Like I used to eat like tons of shit food. Like right now, I'm eating like I'm counting my calories. I'm only taking in food which gives me nutrition, which helps me gain strength for my workouts. Like I'm constantly like thinking about how I can improve my lifestyle. That's only happened once I started banging chicks and realized that well, everything is going to contribute towards it.
Yeah, dude, that's so true. I mean, like, if you want to be really, like, it's very, very hard to be, like, successful with women and just be shit at other areas of your life, to
Mm.
be, like, fucking, out of shape, like, eating like shit, smelling like shit, dressing like shit, like, like, if getting good, successful with women forces you to get other areas of your life together.
For sure, 100%. I agree.
Yeah, there's no way around it. It's like you want to get good with women. Well, you're gonna have to do something about that fucking mop on your head or something like
Mhm.
that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Yeah, good shit. I mean, this has been a good interview. It's great having you on.
Mhm.
Um, any other closing thoughts?
No, nothing else.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks again for doing this, and I'm sure that anyone watching this who enjoyed Indian PE's story. There's going to be plenty more coming from him. You're going to be writing articles, making videos, right?
Yeah, I will.
All right, awesome, man. Good shit.